Hey, how you doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your sensei Al Bob here to listen to you. Right. So let's hear something. So, what do you think about the Maui? Here, take a look at this. My basic take on all of these fires in America, they mostly started by electrical, right? And who is running our electrical grid? But Mr. Rothschild, right? And so he wants to basically get rid of a population. So he's burning it out. Oh, look at this. Yum, yum, yum. Look at this, kids. Ooh, ooh. What do we call this? Turtle pie. Yummy. Anyway, so, good old Mr. Rothschild is basically burning everything up, right? That all those big, nasty fires. And basically, all of these fires have the same similarity. Thank you, darling. They look very similar to what happened to the World Trade Center. Right? Try and go find that video that was played over and over and over and over and over and over and over again of the World Trade Centers falling down like a waterfall of dust. Chunks, not the building tipping over, but dust. Right? And they cleared out that whole, all evidence of what happened there within a month. Right? And they were starting to clear it out the day it happened. They had trucks waiting underneath the FDR Drive. So it's a very interesting thing about what's going on around us. I want to hear what you got to say. Okay, we'll play Amy.
From the Maui wildfires has reached nearly 100 and is expected to climb far higher in what is now considered the deadliest wildfire in the United States in a century. It's clear the fire is Hawaii's worst natural disaster. The blaze decimated the historic town of Lahaina, which once served as the capital of the Hawaiian kingdom, as it spread at a rate of a mile every minute, propelled by wind gusts from Hurricane Dora hundreds of miles away. A lawsuit filed against the utility, Hawaiian Electric, alleges electrified power lines blown over by the high winds helped the wildfire spread at such a rapid pace, and that the company should have de-energized these power lines after a high wind alert. This is a survivor of the fire named Akanezi Va, describing how her family got stuck in traffic while trying to escape the ferocious flames. She was with her husband and 3 kids, aged 15, 13, and 9. They recorded part of their experience on a cell phone as the blue skies around them turned gray, then black.
This here is where we were at before we made the decision, because this is the electrical that lit up the flames. So that's my husband in the passenger seat, because he kept getting in and out to hose down small fires that were starting. Just from our parking stall to the entrance of our apartment complex, it went from blue skies to gray to black. And all we seen was embers from fire that we had no idea what's going on. There was no siren, nothing. And it was just heartbreaking seeing our community, my neighbors, like lots of elderly people trying to make it down the stairs just to get into their car. And out of nowhere, this fire jumped from the parking structure over to a tree and then onto an electric post. By then, we were right next to that electric post. And as a mom, I mean, so many things are going through my mind. Cars are panicking, and I have it on video where my son was, in the video, he's like, "Oh, mom, it's hot. I can feel it." So instantly, I'm telling my husband, "I need a reverse. We need to get out and run." Everything's coming so quick. We could feel the heat is sitting in our car, and out of nowhere, I just hear banging on this window, and everything starts. So I look to my left, and I'm literally right next to this car where this grandmother is yelling for help. And she's just telling me, "Please help me, I have a baby." And I just, at that time, I'm like, what do I do? So, of course, I jump out. I tell my husband, "You tend to the grandma. I'm grabbing the baby." I run around her car, open the back. Baby's on her side. Right behind her, I reached over, I grabbed this baby. She was about 2.5 years old. I grabbed her. She was sitting on a blanket. I wrapped her with the blanket, and I told my kids, "You guys run. Don't turn around and look for me." And my 9-year-old couldn't. She just kept telling me, "Mom, I can't. Please, Mom." This is the car where we saved the baby from. We took out running this way. Ran out this way.
See how these vehicles are. I mean, the heat was so intense, everything just melts, right?
Right into the corner. There's a fence. Mona and my husband and the neighbor bent to get everybody to safety. We were all hiding behind this wall here. We run to
There's
the
nothing
corner
left.
and we meet up with a few pets there, our neighbors. There's about a good 9 of us. We meet there and we just notice that we're at a dead end. And we're just standing there. We have our backs to this building and we're looking at each other and we're like, my son was like, "Oh, Mom, is this it?" And I mean, what do you tell your kids? And I told my kids, if it is, my husband told me, if it is, thank you, Lord. Thank you, God. Thank you for my family. Oh, Lahaina's home. I mean, so many times I tell myself, I need to get off this rock. The moment I'm in the air, I'm homesick. I mean, being here on the other side of the island, I am grateful. I'm thankful that my brother and his wife opened their home to us. But just being here on this side of the island, I'm still homesick. Like, my heart is in Lahaina. I will always have a place in my heart for Lahaina. Lahaina's home, period.
That was Akane, the Town, with her husband and her 3 kids, 15, 13, and 9. Frantically search for any sign that their loved ones may still be alive. Maui County Mayor Richard Bisson described the scene in Lahaina in an interview with ABC News.
Cars in the street.
Alarms on the island of Maui alone did not get activated to warn the residents about the fire. Hawaii emergency.
So, it's just like the World Trade Center. They'll never get to the bottom of it. Just like JFK, they'll never get to the bottom of it, Just like 100 other thousand things. Oops, what happened here, right? So, I'm sitting in this little restaurant, and a big bad storm is coming, and I'm just going to stay here and talk to you. So, it's one person. How about a thumbs up, guys? How about making a comment? What do you think of what's going on in Hawaii? or what happened in Canada. I had a friend of mine who sent me some imagery from satellite, and there was a line of fire for 800 miles. And most forest fires are like a little bit burning over here, a little bit burning over here. And this fire was a straight line. And usually forest fires burn between 300 and 600 degrees, right? The fires in Canada on that straight line were white hot. And they were burning at 3,800 degrees, close to the sun. I don't believe what I'm about to tell you, but it seems like a space-based scalar weapon, right? And of all the, since 1947 that we signed the National Security Compact, and we went from the War Department to Defense Department. We went from the government running it to corporations running it. We went from it's like nuclear weapons, right? You'd think they were part of the budget of the Defense Department, but they're not. They're part of the budget of the AEC, Nuclear Regulatory, NRC, Nuclear Regulatory Commission, or whatever they call that. And so you don't even know that nuclear weapons are being made by another entity. And our nuclear weapons were upgraded in the early O's, right? And we have about 1,800 what are known as strategic weapons. The tips of ICBMs, either sea-launched or coming out of a silo. And they're all mirrored, multiple reentry vehicles, meaning one missile blasts off and has at least 10 to 20 warheads, each with a hydrogen bomb on it, right? 6,000 deliverable warheads, right? And we have totally outdone Russia. Because Russia, our Defense Department in 2020 spent something on the order of $1 trillion on defense, right? And if you were to, again, put in, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, what the State Department spends, there are all these other departments that you have no idea that they are actually taking their budget and using things that are for war. So, at the NRC, right? Not the NRC, and NSC, right? And so you wonder why you're paying $4 for a gallon of gas. It's not because we have a shortage of gas. It's not the capitalist thing of supply and demand. No, we got more gas than you can think of. No, money is being used in other ways, and most of the technology. Why they don't really want to talk about UFOs is because if you look at Greek mythology, if you look at the Bible, there's all kinds of things flying in the sky, right? So the technology has been around for a long time. And we aren't the pinnacle of the human experience. 100,000 years ago, there were civilizations much more superior to ours, technologically and spiritually. And we're more like Fred Flintstone. So it's very interesting to see what do you have to say about this? Come on. This is a live chat, I want to hear what you guys think about what's going on in the world, right? And I'm old enough to remember many wars, many dead people. AIDS was a way worse pandemic than COVID. It killed But it happened to what they said were, drug users and gay people, so it didn't matter. We want to get rid of those guys anyway. And people listen to guys like Tucker, what's his name? And, he's still getting paid by Fox. And back when Fox came on the scene in the 70s, they came from Australia at that time. I built their first studio in Long Island City. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a bit a ways. There it is.
That's why we come in.
Did you come out Butler or did you come out from North Carolina? 321 Bassett. It's called Camp Faith. It's on the left.
Yes.
He's got a cabin that he rents for $75 a night. The shower house is the most amazing shower house you've ever seen in your life. He's got a kitchen in it, all kinds of stuff. But then if you wanted a house, he's got a house up front for $125 a night. To me, that's better than a hotel. You know what I mean? And the house comes with a carport, so you can park all your bikes under the carport. You know what I mean?
And that's what this neighborhood. It's going from a rural farm neighborhood to a glamping site. These people came from Pennsylvania.
Oh, you guys all.
They're all dentists. I said, so where are you guys? Welcome, Dominic. And they said, we're dental surgeons.
Yeah, he's there now. You can call him. He's out on PRBO, all those areas. Oh, that's right. I could give you his number too.
Oh, come on. There's nobody there. Nobody wants to. No one wants to think. Right? No one cares. All they're thinking about is themselves. If you guys have kids, you don't even care about your kids. The world they're going to be living in. I mean, I'm in my mid 70s. And I've had an amazing life. Traveled the world. And did amazing things. Had amazing people in my life. And not anymore. I went to Boone to do an errand for a friend, and I couldn't find a place. And as I walked through the streets asking, hey, where is this place? No one would even talk to me. That's how disconnected they were. They weren't human. They were transhuman. They already had, the silicon chip in their brain. So good luck with that. And I've already died 7 times, so I know what death is like. It's not a big deal. And so I'm not, going to any real extremes to keep myself from dying. I mean, I'm disciplined about my diet, And the last 2 days, I was a very good boy. And I kept my blood sugar around 120. So when I go home and see what my blood sugar for eating that one piece of.
I hope that starts dripping on you. You can just move forward.
It starts dripping up.
It could any minute.
Any minute. Okay.
It's rather moody. We don't know if it will or
It's
not.
rather moody.
Yeah. They were sitting here one day and a woman had a taco salad. It politely dripped right in her taco. It started dripping all of a sudden.
What's the weather report? What did they say? Is it coming at us or going away from us?
It's going through.
Going through.
It's just going to pass through and then you hit and miss thunderstorms for a little while.
Okay.
Hit and miss.
Hit and miss. I can live with hit and miss. Arr. So that's life, hit and miss, right? So can't think of anything else to say. Come on, don't you guys have anything to say? You are that pathetic. Not even the troll. The troll, Yo-Yo's not even here. He was here earlier this morning. Oh, well. I'm just going to wait a little longer for this. Right. So, And so you look at, Maui, right? All the places where the corporate hotels were did not get touched. Not even since. There were people on the beach drinking, cocktails when this fire was going on, and they didn't know anything about it, right? But Maui, which was historical, which was, the soul of the Hawaiian indigenous stores and restaurants, weren't corporate. They were owned by native, and they're just toast. And now there's 1,000 people missing. I bet you they don't even find their bodies. That's how hot that is, right? And that's like, no, and they're not going to talk about that, They're just going to make a little memorial, little plaque, and that's about it. Pretty much just like 9/11. They don't really talk about that. Meaning, I was a Local 3 union electrician working on both those buildings. And those buildings were structurally built to withstand an aircraft. We called it the birdcage. The whole structural support of the building was on the outside of the building, right? And what was amazing about those buildings, each floor was an acre big, and it had no columns because these floors were so strong. They're 4 foot thick with steel and pipes and cables and mats of rebar. And the more it went down, the stronger it got. And no aircraft, it was designed to be able to be hit by 2 707s. And the 707 back in the day was built like a tank, where the 767 that hit the buildings, allegedly, are built like an aluminum thermos, right? There is no real density. The biggest thing on those aircraft are the engines, right? So you have to make them lighter and lighter and lighter, so it needs less and less gas, can go further and further, and can fly on one engine, right? So things aren't what they seem to be, right? But you don't want to talk about that. You want to stay in your nice little safe, self-medicated bubble. Now, I can relate. I spent 15 years working in the corporate world, and I self-medicated myself not on heroin or meth or alcohol like the people I worked for did. The desperate corporate lawyers, they were all toast. Me, I was living the hedonist life. That was what I was self-medicating on, hedonism. That was quite nice, I was enjoying and I enjoyed every slice of chocolate cake. So I can enjoy this one slice. I haven't had a piece of cake like that for at least a month. So one slice a month, not a bad. I used to eat whole cakes, because I wasn't paying for it. The lawyers were, right? And I was doing my magic trick, and they were, happy that I could do what I did. Anyway, so, no one's going to be here. Let's see, 2024. I'm going to go. Let's say a little prayer here. For all those in Maui, for all those in the Ukraine, for all those in all the war sites in Africa, and all over the world. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, as it was in the beginning, is now, ever shall be, world without end. Okay? No one's here. No one cares. I had to drive about 30 miles to, I had to do other things, but I came here to, because over where I'm at, they've replaced all of the internet with, and it was paid for by the federal government, allegedly for the poor folk there, but there are no. So if you're in one of those new gated communities, you get it. But if you're like me, just in the woods on the side of the road, I can pay $600 to get it installed and $50 a month, and nothing, nothing from the state, right? But the people who put it in took all the money from the federal government. Right? So thank you, Joe Biden, right? Stepford Biden. Oh, anyway, catch you later.